Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca Jones, and today I'm going to be showing you how to paint basic flowers using acrylic paint. So let's get started. So today we will be painting these basic florals, and you can use any colors that you would like. I did stay in the coral and pink color palette. You will need a paintbrush, a color palette to keep and mix your paints, and a canvas of some sort. Here I used cardstock paper. And while I did say you need a brush, I actually used two. So I used one to mix my paints and one for actual painting. Right here I'm mixing red with yellow, and that's going to give you a coral color. If you would like a more muted and light coral, then you can add some white, and that's what I did to get this look here. We are now taking that paintbrush right to the paper and making a circular shape. This will be the base for your rose. Don't worry if the circle is not perfect, that is totally fine. Next I'm making a rosebud, and the shape to keep in mind here is pretty much an upside down egg. After that I'm making petals on my rose using a darker shade of coral. The key here is to make overlapping lines that get smaller as you get closer towards the center and avoid connecting the lines. On this rose, I'm making it face upwards, and that's why the lines are starting at the bottom of this oval and growing towards the top. Same idea with the rosebuds. Here I'm going to use a dark maroon color for the center of my roses. Next I'm grabbing a little bit of beige and I'm going to make my stems. For the rosebuds I like to give it a little bit of a curve in the stem and add some leaves, of course. A little depth on my leaves, I'm using a contrasting color and just putting a curved line from the bottom to the top. Moving on to our second flower shape, you're going to start by creating 3 large petals. Next I'm taking that dark coral once again and starting at the base of my flower, dragging my paintbrush upwards to a little more than halfway up the petals. From there I'm using the dark maroon and I'm creating these little dots which I will connect with a very thin line to my flower. Now I'm using the same beige as the last flower to create my stems once again. So here I just made an odd oval shape and then a curved line for my stem. You can add some leaves if you'd like. I did add some thin, long leaves to my stems. In order to create a little more depth on my stems, I'm using a lighter beige and adding some shadowing as well as some lines to my leaves. Moving on, we're going to paint these happy little flowers. They are super adorable and super easy to make. You can make them with petals of 3, 4, 5, really however you see fit. Next, I'm adding a contrasting color once again. I chose to go in with a light pink to brighten the flower. To finish it off, of course, I have to add a center, so I just use that dark maroon once again and putting very odd shaped dots in the center of the flowers. And here I'm just going to add a few more of those long, thin leaves to give it a more complete look. Next flower is going to be a lily. To change things up, I started out with a light pink. And you're just going to create 2 to 3 long petals with your base being much smaller than your top. Coming in with that dark coral, we're going to start at the base of our tulips and just have a very loose brush stroke going up. Now we add our stem. You can curve it a little bit or have it straight. And some leaves. On to our last floral piece. This one's more of a filler. We're going to make a stem of leaves. So I'm doing a curved line here, but you can do it curved or straight. Next I'm going to create some chunky leaves, and we're going to keep these leaves parallel to each other on both sides of the stem. Just gonna add some highlights here with a light beige. And now I'm going to paint some thin curved lines from top to bottom of my leaves, giving it more clarity. These flowers were all super simple and so much fun to make. If you decide to paint them yourself, I would love to see your creations, so feel free to share them with me Or if you decide to post them online, you can tag me at The Virtual Florist, and I'd be happy to check them out. Happy painting! So I hope by the end of this video you are feeling totally confident to just go out there and paint yourself a world of flowers. From here you can paint clusters, banners, even flowers on their own. It's all up to your creativity. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below. If you want to see more content like this, you can follow me on my Instagram page at The Virtual Florist, and look forward to seeing you next week.